Hello there, this is Dr. Brett Spradlin. This is Divine Design Natural Health, and everybody say hi to Facebook. Yay! Hi Facebook. We've got a couple rooms full of people here, and we just are having a class. We all got bored tonight, and we thought, let's just go sit in this random place at this random building and listen to this random dude talk about random stuff, and here we are. And you have shown up to I Just Like the Way It Smells, which is a class, a WellWorks event, I'd rather say, where we're going to teach you some things that's kind of hard to swallow, but it's stuff that you need to know regardless. Okay, and just recently we went through, for all the new people and everything, we went through the welcome folder, we went through the new patient packet, we showed you all the stuff that we do, we showed you why we do it. I said a minute ago that I was going to tell you about some miracles, and I want to take just a few minutes to do that. How many of you would like to hear some testimonials of some good stuff happening to good people? Right on. Here we are. I'm not going to read any names, so if this is you, just don't shout, hallelujah! Save it for later. Within 4 weeks, most of my issues were gone. I no longer am tired all day and look forward to each day with more energy. How many of you know that can be a turnaround for somebody's life? I was diagnosed with RA a little over 10 years ago. Within a short amount of time, I noticed that my hands couldn't work the way they did in the past. Within a week and a half of my first visit with Dr. Brett, I discovered by pure accident that I can actually snap my fingers. I've not been able to snap my fingers in 9 years. Sounds like a small thing, but that's being able to button your shirt. We're talking about the activities of daily living, folks. Like, this can set people free. Last night, I worked night shift and noticed my left lower back was starting to ache. This morning, I was cleaning my floor when I bent over to mop, and my back went out 8 out of 10 pain. I came in to Divine Design. Within 15 minutes, all my pain went from an 8 to a 1. This is what we do here, by the way. Oh, and I don't write prescriptions for drugs or surgery. Those are the only things that we don't do. If you want drugs or surgery, you need to go to the urgent care center, or you need to go to the walk-in clinic, or you need to go to the emergency room, or you need to go to your PCP, or you need to go to 15 other places. But there's one place where you're going to get all natural biblical health care for a fraction of the price, and you're going to get a hug coming in and a hug going out. And prayers on the way, both ways. Everything I've done here is worth every penny. I've been a patient here for a year and a half. My eye doctor checked my eyes a month ago, said that he would have to change my prescription to a weaker one. How many of you know that doesn't happen? Your eye doctor going to a weaker prescription? The doctor said, I don't know what you're doing, but keep it up. We get that from every specialty. How many of you know that? The doctor doesn't get what's going on, you're getting better, but the doctor's, well, we don't know what you're doing, but keep it up. Why doesn't he ask you what you're doing? Why doesn't he call the place that you're going to do the stuff that he's not asking you and say, hey, what are you guys doing down there? All these people getting better. Why don't they do that? Why don't they do that? Well, it might be. That might be too. But the big thing is, could be, yeah. But to me, job security is like the old school days. To me, job security is the doctor only gets paid when the village is healthy. See, that's the way it used to be back in the day. People were sick, guess what? The doctor didn't get any food from the farmer because the farmer's sick, right? So think about that. It's partly, yes, you're kind of partly right, but the big thing, well, we won't get into that. I developed hemorrhoids and was told by many people that it would take a long time for it to go away. We changed a few simple things and did one chiropractic visit. Less than 1 week later, it was completely gone. I've had no more since. Thanks, Divine Design. Hemorrhoids? There's a special adjustment for that. I'm just kidding. They believe me. Jeez, they'll believe anything. Let's see. Already 4 weeks, I feel better than I have in years. I have mental clarity and energy. I have type 1 diabetes. I'm taking less insulin. Used to have dry eyes. Used eye drops 4 or 5 times a day. I actually had moisture in my eyes yesterday. And this was about 2 weeks ago. No more burning. Been sleeping better than I have in years, which is a miracle. And we're not prescribing Lunesta. Amen. I came in with middle backache after chiropractic adjustment. I didn't even get out of the door, and I was feeling better. Ha! There we go. Oh yeah. 1 week I've seen improvement in energy and felt like the glow is coming back into me. I'm more interested in life and enjoying more every day. There is a person right there that will not end up on Celebrex. There's a person right there that will not end up on antidepressants and anti-anxiety drugs and antipsychotic drugs. There's a person right there who will have grandkids and will have a long line of happiness rather than being stuck inside her own little prison and not being able to function and not being able to go outside of her house. Big difference. First experience in the infrared sauna was absolutely amazing. I was forced to sit in complete silence for 45 minutes with only my thoughts to keep me company. It was exactly what I needed. Hallelujah. My husband is doing the cleanse with me. He's lost 14 pounds during the first days of the during the first 8 days of the cleanse. We do a purification. Somebody told me, who was it today, that said they've lost 23 pounds and it's been 14 days? I don't remember who that was. Hey, we do weight loss, but we do it without liposuction. Guess what? We train you. We train you on what's making you gain weight. That's what we do. So that's somebody who's on the program. Her husband's not even on the program, not doing anything. He's just eating what she's eating while she's on the purification, and the dude lost 14 pounds. He just changed eating. He's not taking the supplement, to my knowledge. I don't think. He may be. But he's just changing what he's eating. We had a guy come in today, new patient, wanted to get started. I said, I don't want to change my diet. Everything I'm doing is fine. I said, well, you're in the wrong office. I'm not compromising. You want back pain relief, chiropractic. You want me to crack your back. I'm a walking Advil to you. That's respectful, thanks. But what we do here, the reason that we get miracles, you read Google, you read Facebook before you came in? Yeah. Okay, how do you think we do that? We do that the same way with everybody. If you don't want, I said, does nutrition even interest you? He said, no. What you eat doesn't interest you? No. We're done. I have nothing further to say. If I'm the doctor and you respect me, then, follow my recommendations. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking you to, do anything I wouldn't do. Guess what? I don't do anything to anybody in this practice that I wouldn't do to my mother or my father or my brother. So I'm not going to ask you to do anything that's going to hurt you. But when you walk in and you say that you're not going to follow the recommendations and you tell me what you want, he said he came because he read our website and realized that we were overtly Christian and he wanted that. My thought to him, I didn't say this, but I thought, well, then maybe you should humble yourself and just do what your brother's asking you to do. Amen. You know what I mean? Who wants to humble themselves and be told, God, this is all I have to do? He said, well, I eat healthy. I said, is that right? He said, yeah, I eat healthy. I looked at his thing. Oats, bread, cereal, cake. That was breakfast. Oh, you eat healthy. Oh, no, I misunderstood. No, you're not starving. That's what you mean. So if you think you know more than me, then you're your own doctor and you don't need me. That's fine. I'm okay with that, because standing behind you is 10 people who will replace you in a heartbeat because they are humble. And they do want to learn. And they do want to, they're not having answers to their questions. He's already scheduled for, surgery. And he doesn't want to do, I'll bet you $1 million he does what the surgeon says to do. I bet you $1 million. They tell him to take steroid shots 3 times a week for the next 30 days. He'll do that. Oh, yeah. So why would I want to jeopardize my reputation, my practice? Why would I want to bring someone in who is obviously not going to follow what I have been trained and spent my life preparing to do to rave results, right? Not getting cocky, not getting arrogant, just being very truthful, just being very confident in our clinical, in what we do. That's all. That's it. Within 4 weeks, most of my issues were gone. I no longer am tired. We already did that one. All right, you ready? Let's do this. This right here, I'm going to read you a story. This is hilarious, and I'm going to try not to butcher it. But this is wonderful because I want to cover a couple terms first so that you understand what's going on. How many of you know, not to get all big worded on you or anything like that. I hate when doctors throw around big, giant words to make themselves sound smart. I'm going to show you these because these are 3 words you need to know. Why? Because if you don't know what they are, you're going to hear them soon. And you need to know what these are, period, end of story. Carcinogenic, neurotoxic, and teratogenic, or teratogenic, depending on where you put the emphasis. Carcinogenic just means it generates cancer. Okay? Neurotoxic means it's toxic to what? Brain or nervous system tissue, right? Neuro, right? Teratogenic just means it generates birth defects. That's all. That's all that means. If you work in a radiological lab and you're pregnant, is that a good thing? No. If you are sucking down Drano and working in chemicals all day and you're pregnant, is that a good thing? No. When you're pregnant, do they want you on a lot of medications? No. Bingo. That should tell you something right there, shouldn't it? There's certain drugs that they will not put a pregnant woman on. You know what, too? There's certain vaccines that pregnancy is not recommended for as well. So that should tell you something right there. People will want to argue with you all day long about the vaccine thing because they'll want to parrot the opinions of a bunch of people that they saw on CNN that they don't even know. They haven't looked into it themselves. They haven't done the research. They haven't looked. They've just blindly believed people in the government, people in the media who say, oh, it's totally safe and effective. All right. Go to your doctor and say, this chemical that you're going to put in my kid, I want your signed guarantee. This is how you beat a vaccine, by the way. Write this down. I want your signed guarantee that this vaccine will not harm, endanger, or damage my child in any way. That's how you get out of it. It's one of the ways. There's a bunch of ways. That's one of them. Will they sign that paper? Will they write it? No. Will they sign it? No. Because they know what? Every vaccine has never been studied for these three things. I'll show you in the vaccine inserts written by the pharmaceutical companies that create the vaccines. Those three things are what the vaccines have never been evaluated for. So how can you say they're safe and how can you say they're effective if they've never been evaluated for the ability to break DNA in human living tissue, to pollute the nerve supply and the central nervous system of the living human organism, and to create a bunch of birth defects? How can you say it's safe if it's written right into the manufacturer's instructions of the vaccine, right? That's what I'm talking about. You need to know this stuff. How do I know? Because if you have a grandkid that all of a sudden is 3 years old and goes and gets hurt somehow, and now he's got to wear diapers and a helmet for the rest of his life, guess who gets taken out of the workforce to take care of him until he's 18 years old? One of the parents. So either your daughter or your son or your in-law. Welcome to a whole new world. So I'm going to read this to you, and this has nothing to do with vaccines. I just wanted you to understand that these are three things three words you're going to hear in this, but it's also three things that the vaccines have not been evaluated for. Here we go. And if there are any, somebody's monitoring Facebook, yes. So if there's any, yeah, cool. All right, I'm going to read this. Now, hey, if your name is Sharon, is anybody's name Sharon? No? Okay. Huh? Oh, okay, but you go by Diane. Right. Okay, fine. So just don't pay attention to the name in here. Her name's Sharon, but I just want to make sure. Sharon gets her hair colored every few months with a dazzling red-brown hue. She can always detect the smell of the hair color and notices that her scalp tingles just a little bit while having it done, but knows the sensation will pass. To preserve her color, she uses a color-enhancing shampoo every other day and uses extra hold hairspray to reduce flyaway hair and give it some extra shine. I know. So, isn't it? She buys her makeup and most of her skincare products from department stores, but thinks it's a little strange that she can't find a single ingredient on some of the packaging. The label on her package promises to regenerate her skin cells, and even though her lipstick tastes a little funny, she loves to reapply it throughout the day. Sharon uses tartar control fluoride toothpaste, rinses her mouth out with a Cool Mint mouthwash. She uses a scented shower gel, wears a sunscreen from the drugstore under her moisturizer, and loves to slather on her favorite body lotion every day after taking a shower because it smells like kiwi. She just likes the way it smells. I saw light bulbs like Christmas going off. Lori could not for the life of her figure out, I just like the way it smells. What is he talking about?
Our house smells real good too.
Oh, yeah. Those Renewed air fresheners do the trick, don't they? Febreze. Yeah. Oh, yeah, perfect. Oh, I just lost it. Because it smells like kiwi. Oh, and by the way, I just like the way it smells. It's not just the smell. Think about it. You could replace that with any other scent. I just like the way it tastes. You know how many times I hear that? I just like the way it feels. I just like the way it tastes. I just like the way it looks. You know, Think about the pride of life and the lust of the eyes. Think about the food. I tell people 4 inches of heaven, or you're going to put up. You're going to do 4 inches of heaven, but then you're going to tolerate 30-something feet of hell. Just to taste it? Just to taste it. Well, I love Diet Coke. Yeah, and you taste it for every sip. You taste it for about half a second. And then the rest of its trip through your entire digestive tract, what's it doing?
Killing my mama.
Killing your mama? Right. Well, not just Diet Coke. Diet Mountain Dew, Diet whatever. Splenda, sucralose, aspartame, right? I don't want to get off track. But the point is this. She just likes the way it
Smells.
Right. Or tastes. Any other sense? Put it right there. I just like the way it. Put it right there. That's why people are sick. She gives herself a few sprays of Obsession before getting dressed and uses deodorant that she purchased from the drugstore because that's all that works for her. How many of you have heard that? She loves manicures and pedicures and uses an assortment of nail polish regularly. Now I know, I feel it. I feel the arrows of the enemy. I'm going to answer all your questions. Ladies, I feel it. Don't hit me. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just here. I'm here to save your life. Thank you. I'm here to save your life. I'm not here to crush your fun. I'm here. But here's what we do with patients. We get them so healthy that they don't need the drugs. And then we reprogram their taste buds. We rescue them. We go in behind enemy lines. We do recon. We do ninja rolls. We crawl under barbed wire. We grab their taste buds and we pull them back. And then they can taste real food again. And then if they go and are accidentally dosed by another ninja on the other side with some Diet Coke, they wake up and they go, ooh, that tastes like a chemical. What is this? Oh, this is what I was drinking a case of every week. Huh. It's interesting because God made, created, sculpted an almost unkillable machine despite the fact that we have been poisoning it, poking it, cutting it, radiating it, beating it, abusing it all day long, every day, 3 meals a day for decades, and somehow your heart keeps beating. Don't tell me there's no such thing as grace. Huh. Plus you're taking 15 meds, you're missing 7 organs, and you're still alive? She disinfects her bathroom frequently with bleach, dusts weekly with furniture polish that smells just like lemon, cleans with a bright purple spray cleaner that has lavender listed as a primary ingredient. She can't pronounce the next 5 ingredients on the bottle, but Sharon has the perfect cocktail of carcinogenic, neurotoxic, and teratogenic products that she invites into her bloodstream on a daily basis. Life is in the... You put something on your skin, where does it go? Where else is it going to go? Where else does it have to? It has to go. You put something on your skin, you smear a cream on your butt, or you put a little bit of titanium dioxide on your nose, or zinc oxide on your nose, or if you put the spray tan stuff, or you put deodorant with aluminum, and you're wondering why you have swollen lymph nodes, you just blocked them with aluminum. It's one of the most toxic things to living human any living organism. Aluminum is toxic to all of life. Did you know that? Aluminum. Chemtrails, yeah, we'll talk. I teach a whole class on that. A whole class. Food, air, water in the summertime. I do June, July, August. June, July? May. I do July, August, September. I do food, I do air, and I do water. So if you want to do the chemtrail class, come to the August one. The August one. I don't call it chem. I call it geoengineering. I call it what your government calls it, which is geoengineering. I don't call it chemtrails.
Aluminum is sold to use in your kitchen with your foods for you to bake on.
Funny, huh? Yep.
It leaches
Exactly.
into the food.
Exactly. Aluminum cans, aluminum foil, aluminum cookware. Oh yeah. Aluminum dental stuff. Yeah. You getting the point? You need to know this? Yeah. So I just wanted to cover this with you. Another way that you could think about this is it's toxic to reproductive organs. Think ovaries, think testicles. Why are all the guys on ED meds, low T? You think it's really because the doctors are drawing their blood and finding low testosterone levels? Low T? Where's it coming from? Why are all the women, well, I better write this. That's the word I'm looking. Yeah, reproductive organs. Why are all the men growing breasts?
McDonald's.
Why are all the kids crapdonalds? Is that what you said? Yeah. Why are all the kids? Why are the how can I say? Why are the kids confused about what bathroom to use? Why do the boys look like girls and the girls look like boys? Correct. Yeah, absolutely. So if teratogenic, if it causes birth defects, and then you're thinking, well, all these kids with cleft palate and cerebral palsy and epilepsy and all these kids with all this crazy stuff and these deformities and they're missing fingers and they're missing toes. You remember thalidomide poisoning? How many of you are old enough to remember thalidomide? Yeah. Interesting, huh? Bunch of babies being born with no arms, no legs. Came to find out it was an anti-nausea drug given to women during pregnancy. Maybe tens of thousands, maybe not hundreds of thousands, but it was big. Big enough where people 80 years later are still talking about it. Yeah. So birth defects, talking about all that stuff, and then talking about repro organs. Why is everybody infertile? Why are all the women run into IVF centers? Why are they spending tens of thousands of dollars to try to get pregnant? Why? Well, maybe they were on birth control pills for 20 years, and then they were on antidepressants for a few. Then they met somebody, and then they wanted to get married and have kids, but they can't get pregnant anymore. Right? How many times that happened? Then maybe they have uterine fibroids and, ovaries have cysts, so they go and they get the ovary scraped and DNC'd and whatever, and they get, part of their reproductive organs removed 10, 15 years ahead of time. They can't have babies. What does that do to the population? Does it take the population up or take the population down? Yeah, that's the agenda, part of it, right? So if it messes up your birthing and your defects and it messes up your reproductive organs, guess what? That's not good. But if people don't know this stuff, you're going to be like Sharon. So she has the perfect cocktail of carcinogenic, neurotoxic, and teratogenic chemicals. Sharon is also pretty sedentary and can't remember the last time she broke a sweat while exercising. Remember we talked about that infrared sauna a minute ago? What's it designed to do? Make every single pore in your body drip like you left the faucet on full blast. And it does. And it's just heat. It's just heat. Most people don't work. They sit in air conditioning. They've never sweated in years, and they're wondering why all their lymph nodes are backing up. Why do I have? What is cancer? What is part of? Some cancers are just the inability of your body to rid itself of toxins. Cancer's two things. I'll review hour and a half long, 2 hour long class from 2 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago. How to cancer-proof your life. Cancer is two things. Cancer is this. Cancer is period. End of story. Drop the mic. Walk off stage. Decreased nutrition and increased toxins. It's one or the other, or it's a combo. Decreased nutrition, that's what cancer is. Decreased nutrition and or increased toxins. Used to be called cachexia back in the day, the wasting away disease, where people would be wasting away. The cancer is eating all of their nutrition. That's how they die. The cancer doesn't kill them. Malnutrition kills them. Does that make sense? I just reviewed a lot of that stuff. But that right there, stuff you need to know. She has not exercised in a long time. Her water intake is minimal, and she drinks it when she remembers to. Sharon does most of her shopping at Jewel and does not prioritize organic food. She suffers from chronic fatigue, dermatitis, constipation, mental fog, and has difficulty breathing at times. I just described 60 to 80% of the people you work with. Did I not? Raise your hand if I did not just describe the people you work with and hang around with. Yeah, every single person in this room, you know somebody like that, don't you? Where is it? Sharon's, blah, blah, blah. Her doctor recently found a mass in her right breast and would like her to come in for a... Toxins are filtered in your liver, but are stored in fat tissue. So if people are overweight, if people are having a hard time getting rid of fat, or if they're eating the wrong foods that are then turning into glycogen in the liver and being stored as fat in the body, what does that tell you about the contents of what's in their cells? Is it good old stuff or is it toxic? That's why when people start losing weight, the first thing they feel is worse rather than better, because their cells are shrinking. You never get rid of fat cells. Once you make them, they stay there. Okay? You start burning the energy and they shrink, which means where did the toxins go? Out of your body. Your body's trying to shrink them and get the toxins out of there, right? That's why we tell people, we don't give a rip about what you weigh. Your body will assume its weight when it wants to. You can go into ketosis and Atkinsosis and all these other osises all you want, but you're forcing a chemical reaction on your body. And some of them are better than most of the things that people are doing to themselves, like the sad standard American diet. You know what I'm talking about, right? Standard American diet. Most of them are better. Any diet changes are better. You got that. I felt that. Most any diet changes are better than what people are currently doing, but ketosis is not the right thing for every single person. Neither is Atkins. Neither is Jenny Craig. Neither is Weight Watchers. I'd rather have somebody doing Weight Watchers than eating bonbons for 5 meals a day. Is it the right thing? No. How do you know? Because you need to come to one of my classes on the facts on fads, where we talk about every diet and we just blow them out of the water and we tell you, here's what you need to eat. Period. End of story. Guess what? Eat what God made. Okay. I'm preaching. Toxins are filtered in the liver, but are stored in fat tissue, right? Sharon is exposed to a plethora of toxins and does not engage in any types of detoxification, such as sweating or adequate elimination, and spends very little time outdoors. Sharon also has the added assault of ingesting pesticide residues, food additives, and extra estrogens from animal drugs in her beef and chicken, in addition to her unsafe personal care products and prescription medications. So, on top of all the crap you're eating and smearing on your skin, you're using the personal care product. So in other words, she's saying she has the added assault of ingesting pesticide residues, food additives, and extra estrogens, as well as the animal drugs in her food, but then her own drugs as well, which creates a bigger toxic burden because there's no drug that was ever cured that created a disease, or that cured a disease, and there's never been a drug created that actually didn't have side effects. I'll say that again. There's never been a drug in all of recorded human history that actually cured a disease. If you think of one, find one, read about one, bring it to me, I want to know. And there's never been a drug that ever came without side effects. Does that make sense? Oh, penicillin. Yeah, penicillin's the best bet, best answer I've ever heard. But guess what? Penicillin doesn't cure the disease. What cures the disease? Your immune system. Penicillin kills the bugs. Sorry. It's an antibiotic, which now we're developing super strains of super bugs because we've super antibioticed every super kid out of his super mind in a super country full of super drugs. We are close to medical literature. If you follow medical literature and you read the journal articles and you're into research and you watch this stuff, you know what the biggest thing is that they're talking about? We are getting this close to living in a post-antibiotic world. It's so bad. It is so bad, and your system has failed you so horribly that it's almost to the point where we can't even use the poisons to kill the poisons. That's how sick it is. We are this close to living in what's called a post-antibiotic world. It says it right in the name. Anti means what? Biotic means what? Life. Antibiotic means anti. You take an antibiotic, guess what? It's killing your life. How do I know? Well, it takes out your mitochondria. That's why when you take an antibiotic, you feel really tired, feel kind of drowsy for a few days. It's also killing out your good flora, your good bacteria. So what happens to the bad bacteria? Do they get bigger? Sometimes. If it's a broad-spectrum antibiotic, it'll take out the bad guys and the good guys. If it's not a broad-spectrum antibiotic, it'll take out the bad guys. But then the good guys get overwhelmed by the yeast and stuff like that. Ask anyone who goes, any woman who ever has a UTI. They get an antibiotic, and what do they get right after? Everybody knows. Yeast infection, right? Hello. So your system's failed you. I'm here to let you know. This is just one scenario among many individuals who are unaware of their own toxic overload. Here's the kicker. It may be hard to conceive the possibility. There he is. We've been waiting for you, Rod Stewart. Rod Stewart just showed up, you guys. Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, I'm crying. I have a good time. Rod Stewart walks into my class. I'm honored. All right. It may be, listen to this guy. He just disrupts everything. So here's the last paragraph, and then I'm going to answer the questions. I'm not going to leave you guys hanging high and dry. I'm not just like, some crop duster that flies in and, drops all the bad news and then just skits out and says, peace, have fun. I'm going to show up and say, well, here's the bad news, but here's the good news. And guess what? I'm going to bring you hope. The other system, the other part of what you've all been through and what you've all seen, for the most part, outside of outside of an emergency room where actual miracles do happen in that type of medicine. Outside of that, I'm going to show you. Where was I going with that? You totally distracted me. You totally distracted me. No, but outside of that, I'm going to give you the hope. I'm going to show you. They pronounce curses. They say they make you fearful. Here's a bunch of money. We're going to run this test. We're going to run a CAT scan, an MRI, blood lab, a CT. We're going to put a camera up your waz. We're going to put a camera down your face. We're going to figure out all this stuff. They come back. They say, we don't know what's wrong, but here's a painkiller. Take some Tylenol and report to your primary care physician in 90 days if nothing changes. How many of you have heard that? Yep. That's exactly what. Hello. You go to the emergency room. You got chest pain. I will tell you. I will predict to you. You want to know what's going to happen? Call me on the phone. Call the phone. Call the phone. I'll tell you, hey, you got chest pain? Here's what's going to happen. Do you want to do that? Oh, you got abdominal pain? Call me on the phone. What's going to happen? I'll tell you what's going to happen. You're going to go to the walk-in clinic. They're going to do an ultrasound. They're going to say we didn't find anything. They're going to do this. They're going to say we didn't find anything. They're going to do that. In the rare occurrence where you actually have an abdominal aortic aneurysm, 1 out of 99,000 people perhaps, where there is an actual emergency, in the rare occurrence, you won't even hear about that. But 9 times out of 10, the standard operating procedure for shortness of breath, I can't breathe, or I've got chest pain, chest x-ray, CAT scan or MRI, nebulizer, inhaler, or antibiotic. How do I know? I've done this for a while. I worked in a hospital for 3 years before I ever did this. I know friends who are MDs and DOs and people who I've ridden with, thank you, and I've ridden with paramedics. And most of the time when the reds and blues are rolling around here, you know what they're responding to. They're not responding to car accidents and bullet wounds. They're responding to adverse drug reactions.
Wow.
ADRs, adverse drug reactions. Somebody in a nursing home that got their prescription changed, right? And something went down, and they ain't feeling right. Hey, did we pass around the green box? Already? Did we? Perfect. Oh, yes. Okay, gotcha. All right, so it may be hard to conceive the possibility that most personal care products designed to intoxicate your senses with fragrant, neatly packaged and appealing marketing slogans may actually cause cancer, promote brain toxicities, and damage our reproductive organs. As illustrated in Sharon's daily encounter with chemical warfare, it is chemical warfare. It's just not sprayed on you all at once. It's just a little bit at a time. It's chemical warfare. As illustrated in Sharon's daily encounter with chemical warfare, we regularly mirror the scenario as a result of the blind trust we give to the very agencies designed to protect us. In order to protect and improve our existing health and environment, it's critical for us to be selective in all areas of personal care. That's why I'm saying, I'm not just some crop duster that blows in and drops a firebomb on you and bails out. I'm going to say, here's what we can do to change it. Because you're never going to completely eliminate the threat, but what you can do is limit it. But how can you, picture this, you're out, you wake up late at night. You want to go get some strawberries out of your strawberry patch out back. Only thing is, that's the dog yard. It's all fenced in. There's dog bombs all over the place, right? How do you know where to go without stepping on a dog bomb to get your strawberries? Wouldn't it be nice to turn the light on? Or wouldn't it be nice for somebody to turn the light on for you so you can see the dog bombs? That's the only way you're going to avoid those problems, is somebody's got to turn the light on for you so that you can see the landmines, right? But if nobody's ever told you, those top 10 medical myths in there, if nobody's ever told you, hey, vaccines aren't all they're cracked up to be, you're not being told everything. They're not 100% safe and effective. You've been lied to. If nobody's ever told you, hey, fluoride, if it's good for your teeth, why are you swallowing it? If nobody's ever told you this, hey, drugs, they all come with side effects. You put 2 of them together, it multiplies the effects exponentially. You put 3 of them together, you're hosed. You're on 15, see ya. Nobody's ever told you this. Let me be the one. But I don't want to be the messenger who's shot with the information. What I want to do is tell you, what do we do to change it? How many of you want to know, what do we do to change it? Right on. Well, the best thing that we can do is know what to stay away from. I'm going to read you a little list. All of these, well, there are chemicals. Here's the deal. I'm just going to give you some rules, okay? All of these things like cleaners, laundry detergent, shampoos, conditioners, bar soap, hand soap, liquid soap, Deodorant, toothpaste, mouthwash, makeup, hair color, all of this stuff. There are alternatives and good ways to use all of it, okay? What you have to do is look for the ingredients. You don't have to be a chemist. People think, oh, this is so, I have to learn all. No, you don't. You don't have to learn all this stuff. Look at the ingredients. If it doesn't have an ingredient label, what should you do? Forget about it. If it has a bunch of stuff on it, like I have lipstick from a patient that they brought in and said, look at this. In my room, I use it to test people. Can you go grab actually those things? And we're going to do a little demonstration here in a minute. And bring a couple of good things too. The list of, you know how small a lipstick container is, right? And there was a list of ingredients on it. To put the ingredient list on the side of the thing, it had to be submicroscopic. I mean, it was like DNA. I'm looking at that thing. And it's so toxic if you can't read the ingredient label and if you can't pronounce the ingredient label. Here's another thing. If the chemicals are that chemical, 1,6-dimethyl phenoxybutyrate. How many of you want to eat that? Thank you, darling. Yeah, sure. Does that sound like it's toxic? I mean, there are some chemicals in the body that if you looked at it, deoxyribonucleic acid, does that sound good or bad? That's your DNA. It's very good for you. Deoxyribonucleic acid. I mean, some of the stuff, you think, oh, that doesn't sound good. But when we see stuff like this, when we see stuff like this, when we see this right here, it means it's been altered a lot of times. Not all the time, but it means it's been altered. Those numbers in front of it. Another big way is you'll see like triethylnolamines and diethylnolamines, so you'll see abbreviations. See, they got smart. And they said, these printed labels are taking up too much room. We have to figure out how to cut down printing costs. We'll abbreviate. So that's what they did. Diethylnolamine, triethylnolamine. So TEA, DEA, what are some other ones? Polysorbate 80, stuff like that. So if you see numbers in some of these things, it's a dead giveaway. If you see FD&C, red, yellow, blue, number 5, dead giveaway. Okay? Cancer causing every one of them. It's the red food dyes. Now there are ways to dye your hair, and there are ways to do certain makeups and things like that that can be more helpful for you than the chemicals. And obviously the dark, the black, the brown, the reds, those are the more toxic colors because they have to have, those are the more toxic colors, but there are ways to do things like that. The only thing that seems to be, if you want to do epoxies and things like your nails, that seems to be like the only thing that you just can't get around. Those are chemicals. You have to have a binder, you have to have a glue to hold something to your flesh. You know what I mean? There seems to be no way around that. But here's the deal. How many of you have started with me as a patient and noticed that your nails went from chippy, flaky, bendy to all of a sudden growing like Elvira? Yeah. I mean, I have to use hedge clippers on my toenails now. I have to get my neighbor to do it with the hedge clippers. Just kidding. So the cleaners, the detergents, makeup, hair color, skincare, all that stuff, there are natural ways to do that. All you have to do is learn how to do it. Then, what if you don't know anything about detoxification? What if you don't know anything about nutrition? Well, great. I don't know anything about putting a roof on my house, but when I need to, who am I going to call? Somebody who does. That's why we're here. You can outsource your healthcare to somebody who cares. You can outsource your healthcare to somebody who knows. Because guess what? I take care of you the way I would take care of who? My mom. You know? And if you don't want me to call you mom, I'll call you sister. If you don't want me to call you mom, I'll call you...
You can call me anything you want.
I'll call you mom.
Call me late for dinner.
I knew that was coming. So, what do you do though? Well, just somebody... That's why we're here. We are commissioned and called and appointed for this place. We are here in Cleveland for a reason, okay? We're here, absolutely. You think, yeah, my thing when I got out of school was I'm going back to Colorado. But God had different plans. He does that every once in a while. But I knew that if I followed his will, he'd blow things up faster and better than I ever could. and have a bigger scope and a bigger outreach and have a bigger way to help more people. I could follow my own thing and go out and live out and be on the hill 120 days a year and go telemark and snowboard every day and ride do everything that I love to do and bike and hike and kayak in the summer and go camping all weekend, every weekend over in Utah. That's what I was doing. But God, you want me to go where? Cleveland. I don't know anything about Ohio. Cleveland, Ohio? What are you talking about? Oh, it's not Cleveland, Ohio? Well, Cleveland, Ohio's got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's cool. Tennessee? And then you find out every state has a Cleveland. You're like, oh, okay. 4 things. There's an article in your folders called The 4 Pillars of Our Process. The stool that Sonia is sitting on has 4 legs. And it's a very good thing because it would tip over if it didn't have 4 legs. The chair you're sitting on has 4 legs. 4 makes a very stable base, kind of like Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, perhaps, or like here. We're going to say this. We're going to say, and I'm going to tell you why our new patient today that just wanted his back cracked didn't stay here more than 10 minutes. I tried to talk to him, but he just wasn't hearing it. He just wanted his back cracked, and that's okay. That's all right. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this one first. The 4 pillars of our process. You put like a few of these. Thank you. You put these together, and you can't help but get better. I'm going to spell out a very simple way for you to understand what we do. You don't have to understand chiropractic for it to work. You don't have to understand gravity, but I guarantee you, if you pull out your wallet and throw it at me, I'm going to catch it. That was a bad joke. If you pull up, I was a receiver in high school. Come on, yeah. I won't keep it. I'll just give it back to you. It'll be a lot lighter. But if I drop this, it's going to fall. It's gravity. You don't have to know how gravity works to understand how it works. Water rolls downhill. You don't have to understand that. You don't have to understand how all this stuff works. That's what I do. That's what I've done for years. That's what I'm good at. Chiropractic moves the big structures of your body. In other words, if we move your shoulder, we're moving not just your clavicle or your collarbone, we're moving your shoulder blade, we're moving your glenohumeral joint, we're moving your humerus, we're moving all the structures that go through, we're moving your brachial plexus, all the nerves that come out of your head and go into your arm. We're moving your arteries, your nerves, your veins, your lymph nodes, your muscles, your tendons, your ligaments, and we're even moving your lungs, because guess what? Your lungs are within here too. When we move your neck, we're moving your esophagus, your trachea, we're moving your lymph nodes, we're moving your tonsils, we're moving your jaws. You can fix TMJ, right? The popping and clicking. That's intimately linked to ear problems too, right? Why? Because they're relocated, or they're located next to each other. But don't try to tell an orthodontist and an audiologist that. Well, that they have their own little specialty. You know what I mean? But think about the physiology behind it. What if somebody has ear problems? Could they also have jaw problems? Yeah. So when you move the big structures, that's chiropractic. Chiro means hand. Jesus never wrote a prescription. He laid what on the sick? Correct. Laser. When we use laser, we're just talking light energy. That's what that is. In the beginning, God said, "Let there be." Right? Right? So we use laser. That's the same wavelength as your DNA. In other words, you got these puppies. Your DNA is your deoxyribonucleic acid. Sounded horrible, didn't it? Nope, it's your genetics. How many of you have seen that on crime shows, right? So the laser, it's just the wavelength of your DNA. So this is the laser is the opera singer, and your cells are the wine glass, and they just vibrate and go, oh, wait, something's waking me up. It must be light, that first energy that was ever created, right? So we're hitting the big structures of the body. We're hitting the genetics. So we go from the submicroscopic to the tangible, right? And then here, detoxification, like the infrared sauna or the ionic detoxification units that we use. Detoxification gets the bad stuff out. Nutrition gets the good stuff in. Right? Does that make sense? Where is a volunteer? Michaela, you want to be a volunteer for a minute? Just in a minute. If you're busy with something, you can come up in just a minute, but I need you in a minute. So I'm going to show you how this all works. Because we have a lot of new people here, and I want to show you kind of how all of the nutrition works. Okay? Everything has a wavelength, everything has a frequency, everything has a pulse. Everything has an energy to it. Right? How do you know? Because everything you eat has energy that you extract out of it and then use for your own energy. Everything in this world has energy, even something dead. Petroleum, fossil fuels have energy. Petroleum and fossil fuels are dead organic matter from rotted plants and animals, correct? So even the creation that God created thousands of years ago still has the energy in it to run. Just thousands of years ago. Just thousands, yes. Yes, just thousands. I'll say it again, just thousands. 6 to 10,000 years ago, not 4.6 billion. And I've never found two science books that ever said the same number, ever. I've heard 4.6 to 13.8. Oh, jeez. We'll just make up anything for our fables and our fairy tales, won't we? But so 6 to 10,000 years. So even the stuff that's dead that God created 6 to 10,000 years ago is still giving off energy. You're running your car off of it. That's how you got here tonight. So everything has energy. So Michaela, I'm going to demonstrate something. Now, well, you're a patient. You know how this works. But we're not going to do anything funky. You know how this works. Everything has an energy to it. I'm going to... Well, here, I'll just explain real quick. If Michaela fell into... Hi, Michaela, how are you?
Good, great.
Good to see you. Great.
Love you.
Love you. So if Michaela fell into a cold lake, a process called hypothermia would take over. Hypo means low, thermia means temperature, right? So the low temperature of the frozen lake, her body, in its innate genius, brilliant, created, designed wisdom, her body would suck all of the blood to the internal vital organs, like the brain, the heart, the kidneys, and the lungs, to keep her alive, right? So her body really wouldn't care, not that her body's being racist, but her body wouldn't care about the fingers or the toes, right? Her body would say, fingers and toes are not vital to my survival. Brain, heart, lungs, kidneys are, right? So the body would suck all of the blood. That's what frostbite is. That's how that works. Your body, it's not that something's going wrong. Your body's doing something very right. Kind of like fevers. Fevers are a good thing. Inflammation is a great thing. Why are we taking non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs? To shut it off, right? Well, I just like the way it feels. Yes. So if all of her blood goes to her internal organs and her fingers turn black, her body is still keeping her alive, even though she may be minus a few fingers, right? So I would hate for that to happen, but yeah, that would be horrible. So that's what hypothermia is. Well, your body understands substances around it. Your body can sense. Your body is so smart. You ever walk into a room, two people were arguing, and you walk in and you just feel the ice. You walk in and go, and you turn around and go, oh, I want nothing to do with that drama, right? So your body can sense that. How could your body not sense the food you eat before it comes into your face, right? Your body knows things that you don't even know. So for instance, we're just going to get, this is the way this works. You can use any muscle in the body, okay? Oh, and anyone who wants a free, I forgot, we should be passing these around right now. Hannah, can you pass these out? Anybody who wants a free screening, there's a lot of new faces here. I'd love to show you how this works. If anybody wants a free screening to understand how this works, just hand these papers out and stuff, and just write down kind of what you're dealing with and any questions you might have about certain things. Come talk to us. We'll do a little tour at the end of class. Probably about another 10 minutes or so we'll be done. We'll do a little tour of the office. You can see what we do, how we do it. What's all this stuff I'm talking about? What is a detox unit? What's the nutrition? What's the laser? What are you talking about? You can see it. I'll show you. So Faye will pass these out. And if you guys are already a patient, don't bother because you already know what's up. But if you are not a patient and you have questions and you want to see how this works, I'll show you. It's simple. It's very easy. So Michaela's just going to give me, you can test any muscle in the body, but Michaela's done this before, so she understands how it works. So, well, here, let's do this so everybody can see. You can test any muscle in the body. You can test fingers, toes, you can test legs, you can test arms, but we're just going to test a strong muscle response. In other words, if something's good for the body, you should be able to tell. If something's bad for the body, your body should be able to tell. What is in a crime lab or in a sheriff's office or a police detective's office, what would this process be called? Where they hook up a blood pressure cuff and some sweat sensors? Same thing. So hold that right there. And I'm just going to lean my body. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to go pump handle like I'm pumping the water. Okay. See people do that all the time. I'm just going to lean. Oh, did I hear you? Sorry. Stand up straight. So I'm just going to lean my weight, because what doesn't change? My weight. So I'm just going to lean gently into this. and just give me good pressure there. I'm just going to lean gently into that. Okay? My mass is not changing. I'm just leaning, and she's got a good, solid, strong response. Very simple, very easy, right? So I'm going to find, okay, good, solid response. Here is a whole food vitamin. Hold that right there. So we're bringing this into her force field. We're bringing this into her tractor beam. We're bringing this into her body, right? So she can feel it. Her body is sensing that. We'll explain the glass here in a minute. I can answer that question for you too, because I can feel that you already have it. So hold that right there. Well, what about the insulation of the glass? We'll get to that. So hold that right there. Yeah. So see, good solid response. Okay? Good solid response. Now close your eyes for me. Good solid response. Good. Now, Michaela doesn't know what this is, but we're going to do something. Hold that. Just keep them open for a second. Because sometimes you can change the response by closing eyes because you're shutting off millions of neurons of input into the brain. Your brain is processing millions of things that you don't even have to think about. So shutting the eyes can sometimes change the response. And there's ways to help to use that to your advantage sometimes. So hold that right there. Good and solid, right? Okay, close your eyes. So I'm just making sure that the eyes don't change anything because I'm going to have her close them here.
You don't close?
Well, open them now. I just don't want you to see what's going on. You want to look deeply into my eyes? Perfect. Okay, so is there a change? Is there a change in response that everyone in this room can see? And I'm not doing this. I'm leaning the same weight in, right? Now close your eyes. I just want to make sure nothing changes with your eyes closed. Okay?
I'm trying really hard. You can't tell.
Okay. Now I'm going to change back. Now I am pushing. Hold right there. Okay, watch. Back to the one that was a little funky. Don't look down. I mean, she's got some, Michaela's got some shoulders. Michaela could tear Andrew up. He's going, yo. But see, nothing. What is this? It's the lipstick I told you about. You test somebody with their insulin or their metformin or their Celexa, guess what happens? Your body knows and has the ability to innately distinguish a chemical compound made by an atheist in an evolutionary laboratory from the Creator's hand in the plants and the animals that he pulled from the same dust of the earth that he knit you together from. It's time we start respecting the body instead of trying to drug it into submission, because God created it. That would be like taking his name in vain, wouldn't it? If we wear his name but we don't respect it, that's what taking his name in vain kind of means, isn't it? Does that make sense? Thank you. Very good demonstration. Everybody give her a round of applause. So, any questions? That's it for me. I don't want to keep you guys from your turkey dinner and your... But if any questions real quick. I know we covered a lot of stuff. This is the solution to the problem. You can eliminate as much as you can. Get off the tap water. Filter it. Get off the crappy food. Don't eat processed stuff. Stay away from the breads and the cakes and the candies and the pastas and the sugars and the Little Debbie and the Ho-Ho and the M&M. I just offended all of Cleveland right there. Stay away from the Nestle. Stay away from the Bayer. Stay away from the Pfizer. Stay away from the Merck. Stay away. Oh, I just offended the other half. So if you can eliminate, you can't eliminate all of it, but can you avoid a lot of it? Can you limit your exposure? You bet. But how are you going to avoid the dog bombs if you don't even know that they're there? You can't. You can't avoid something that you don't know is there. You're going to have some messy feet. Does that make sense? So this is the solution, part of the solution. The other part of the solution is when you get on board here as a patient, doctor means teacher. Doctor does not mean prescriber. Doctor means teacher. So when you come on board as a patient here, we teach you. We give you handouts to read. You see those handouts in that folder, those articles? Yeah, we wrote those. I wrote those. So you should read the articles that you get handed to you. We give you books to read. Every fourth visit, you get a new book to read, right? We have you watching documentaries showing you the world's leading authorities on everything that we're talking about. I'm not going to show you some talking head on CNN who has an opinion. I'm going to show you leading doctors and researchers on the planet who are showing you the truth, just to anybody who wants to listen. I've got access to every bit of research that any other doctor on this planet has. I can order any test any other doctor on this planet has. We do kids, we do men, we do women, we do cats, we do dogs. It all operates the same way. We do Visa, MasterCard, Discover, Cash, check. We do HSAs, FSAs. Because you know what? Everything that we do here is worth, the worker's worth his wages. You know what I mean? And we're giving people their lives back. Do you understand? When somebody can't work, or when somebody's on disability for years, or when somebody is on antidepressants, or their marriage is falling apart, or their kids are leaving home or acting out against them, or they can't concentrate and hold down a job, how many of you know that when you decrease someone's production, you decrease their ability to survive? But when you increase someone's production, you increase their ability to survive. So we're not just selling supplements and adjustments and all this stuff and fancy detoxes and stuff like that. We're selling changed, altered lifestyles, altered biblical lifestyles, and getting people back on the track of divine design. That's what we do. That's our product. So if any of you have any questions, now's the time. Yes, Jim?
Just a thousand things, I like everything you're saying. Just because coming from the fitness industry, when you talk about inflammation, I know there's damaging parts of inflammation too. Can you articulate a bit when you said about how good inflammation is?
Yeah. What I mean by inflammation is the result of your body responding to a stressor. In other words, the stressor can be mostly a chemical one or a physical one. If somebody's working out and they're doing micro tears to the muscle fibers, that's a subclinical type of inflammation. That is, then the body brings in blood to repair the tissues. A lot of times, like when somebody falls down and scrapes their knee, inflammation. Good question, man. Good question. I love this question. This is a good one. I'm going to describe it. I'm going to answer it real quick. I'll give you the best explanation of inflammation you'll ever hear right here in about 2 minutes. Itis means inflammation. Anything with itis at the end of it. Pancreatitis is inflammation of the? Hepatitis is inflammation of the? Correct, you got it. So itis, anything, the hepata, the inflammation of the hippo. I knew some smart aleck was going to do that. So inflammation, let's just discuss, because somebody was talking to me the other day about what can you do for somebody whose brain is inflamed? And I said, well, who told you that inflammation's bad? We had a little talk, and she thought, oh yeah, what's causing, what I was meaning by that was what's causing the inflammation. That's what I was meaning by that. Inflammation is this. This is a good way to remember it. When your body, say you fall down and scrape a knee, your knee gets inflamed because your body brings blood there to swell it, to heat it, to bring up the temperature to cook the bad guys. See, fever is not a bad thing. Fever is to cook the bad guys. Then you're going to have a little bit of a loss of function. Then it's going to turn red from all the blood, and it's going to get painful because you can't move it because it's the body trying to splint it, so you can't move it to keep it stable. So this is what they call the 5 cardinal signs of inflammation. Swelling, heat, geez, I butchered that. A loss of function, redness, and pain. Swelling, heat, loss of function, redness, and pain. So in other words, Jim, that's a good question. That is inflammation. A lot of times somebody falls down, scrapes a knee, or they have their back's all inflamed, or they've got some swelling or something. What's the first thing that we're going to do? Yeah, which is going to do exactly what? Slow down the healing. Because life is in the blood. Correct. You want blood there. You want blood pouring in there to get the good stuff in and the bad stuff out. Right. So the first thing people do, they sprain an ankle, they put ice on it. Stupid. That's what we're taught, though. I was taught that in my doctorate. And I thought that doesn't make any sense. That's going against God's physiology. But, oh yeah, I'm in school. It should. That's the way it's supposed to be, right? So the ice is the exact opposite of what you want to be, unless you're Michael Jordan and you've got 10 seconds left in the fourth period and you got to take the winning 3-pointer. Then you want to put some ice on that. But that's a $1 million athlete. I'm on National Ski Patrol. We're out on the hill. Somebody falls down, breaks a leg. It's facing south when it should be facing north. Grab some ice, put it in a Ziploc bag, pack it around that leg because you're not getting that boot off if it swells.
Well, I guess
you know what I mean?
It's more specific on my question because those are physiologically, those are natural responses.
Yes.
More anti-inflammations caused by nutrition because you get your
Osteoporosis, joints, arthritis, those things are inflammation that actually damages. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that comes from nutrition because of the inflammation it creates in your body. That's what my question was. When you said that's where it's good, but how's it bad?
How is inflammation bad?
Yeah, I mean, there is a bad factor to it, right?
There's a bad factor when short-term inflammation, very good. Long-term inflammation, muy malo, very bad.
We keep inflaming, keep
Right. So when people do this and they take a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory diet or a drug, same thing. When they take an anti-inflammatory, Tylenol, ibuprofen, acetaminophen, aspirin, all the stuff, the anti-inflammatory stuff, when they take one of those, they're shutting down this whole process. Shutting down, which is very, very bad. It's like putting ice on your swollen ankles. But long-term inflammation, that's where we're talking about long-term inflammatory diets, where you're eating a toxic substance and your body's blood pressure is going sky high, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then all of a sudden you're wondering, well, why am I, you're inflamed, and now your body's producing more cholesterol to take care of the inflammation. You go to the doctor and you get diagnosed with high cholesterol and high blood pressure, and then they put you on a beta blocker to stop your heart, they put you on a diuretic to pee out all the rest of the fluid, or they put you on a vasodilator to blow out your arteries and then predispose you to a stroke. And then they put you on a statin. Now your liver has to pump through 2 different toxins while it's trying to get through your crappy inflammatory diet. Now you're doubling up the problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. That's what we do. So short-term inflammation, Jim, very good. Long-term inflammation, standard American diet. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, all day long. Eating stuff that's inflaming your body and wondering why your blood pressure's sky high. Yes, ma'am.
I can speak from experience because, I've been on 1,000 milligrams of naproxen a day for years now because of inflammation.
Right.
And I'm starting week number 7 with you. I have not taken an naproxen in over 4 weeks.
Right on.
I have no inflammation. And I've been doing that for, oh my God,
Right on.
10, 11 years.
Right. 4 weeks or 5 weeks, you said, can shut off 11 years. That's how fast your body can heal. If you just give it a chance. If you just know some of this stuff. You don't have to be a biochemist. You don't have to be a nutritionist. You don't have to know how all this crap works. People ask me, how does all this work? I say, very well, just do what I tell you. Make it real simple. It's not like I'm trying to hide anything. But if you have time to go and read all the books that, and travel and do all the seminars and learn from mentors, if you've got time to do that, great. I need somebody to help me with my luggage. You know what I mean? But you don't have to do that. I've done all the heavy lifting. I've done all of it. Let me help you. Just trust us. Don't be like the dude who shows up today and says, well, I just want chiropractic. Oh, so I actually said, does anything we do here interest you? And he said, no. Oh, all right. I just want the chiropractic. He pops his insurance card on the table. Thank you. And Sarah says, yeah, that's not gonna go down here. We don't so much do that, So don't be like that. Just be humble and just say, hey, yeah, I need help, man. Is this the place for me? And I will say, brother, get over here, give me a hug, give me a high five, give me a handshake. Yes, it's the place for you. We're raging a banner of truth and freedom and healthcare because we're going to change everything. You will hear of us, I promise you, because we're going to blow the roof off this town and we're going to help a lot of people. So inflammation, does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
Anything else?
And then Bojangles will go out of business.
Honey, we're gonna turn Walgreens into churches.
There you go.
Mrs. Winters, we're coming for you. Captain D's, take a seat. No, and you know what? And my passion, my thing is I'm sick of the prisons having fewer drugs than the pulpits. That's my thing. Amen. Can I get an amen? Can anybody say amen to that? I am sick and tired of Christians being sick and tired.
Preach it.
Yeah. You're kingdom people, and they're hobbling around on their walkers, dragging their oxygen tanks. The kids are pushing them in a wheelchair 50 years ahead of time. I'm sick and tired of this. The first time I moved here, I went to a conference at the church I go to, and I swear it was God. It was a vision. It was like a waking vision. I thought, where am I? I thought I was in a nursing home. And this is spirit-filled, heavy-duty Pentecostal flag-wearing, shofar-blowing, just, high-stepping, highfalutin, heavy-duty, this is God's people. And I'm standing there and I'm watching these wheelchairs go rolling by and walkers and all this stuff. Every single person had a limp. It seemed like. Maybe I was just imagining. I don't know. They were pimping? No, they were limping. Walking through church. Like George Jefferson. Oh, yeah. But I realized right then and there why I was here. And I realized we got a lot of work to do. We've got a lot of work to do, man. But who's ready for it? This guy right here, because I'm sick and tired of it. So it's God's people. They don't need to live like that. But one thing you take away today is you do not have to live sick and die young. You do not have to put up with it. You just have to make a decision that you don't want to do it anymore. Does that make sense? Any other questions on the stuff that we covered? If y'all have those sheets ready, give them to Hannah right here. Raise your hand, Hannah. And stick around, and we'll do a little office tour, show you what we do. And then if we have time to do everybody tonight, that'll be great. And I'll kind of show you how this all works. Yes. Oh, wrap it up. Facebook, we got to go. We're running out of time. They're kicking us off the internet because we just broke it. But next week is 2 weeks out. April 9th. We will see you April 9th at 6 p.m. Women, birth, beauty, and biopsies. We're going to talk about good stuff. Thank you. Comment. Any questions or anything on Facebook? We're good? Comment, share, like, thumbs up, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Trying to keep up in all this chaos. I need you now. When my life is in a state of flux, I will lean on the constant love of Jesus. When